Hey, I'm ready to make a video that's called Still Corrupt, Part 2. Okay, so we got the village of Vicksburg, state of Michigan, the United States of America. And one of the reasons that I really want to do this, see, I'm an elected official. This is my if I could run again, this would be time for me to start getting the petition around and stuff. I've been on the council in the village of Vicksburg for 3.5 years, almost 4 years. So it's my job to have oversight. It's what I'm supposed to do. But I want to explain to the people of Michigan why everything that I've done to have oversight of our village, of our police, and the corruption, why there's been no help. Why none of the people that were here that were grown, educated men, not one of them, not our police, not our department heads, not one of them did anything to stop the corruption. They all looked the other way. They all took money. They were all paid for time that they didn't work, for bonuses that they didn't deserve. They were all given benefits and perks that you and I would never, ever be able to get. And it was done with taxpayer money. And see, as a Navy veteran, in boot camp, we were taught the saying, not on my watch. We were taught that if something happens and somebody did something wrong and then there was hell to pay down the road, they were going to go back and they were going to look in that log. And they were going to see who was on watch and who was it that was supposed to be in charge. So, in my time in the village of Vicksburg, while I'm one of the elected people, I'm supposed to be in charge, I've tried very hard to get rid of these corrupt bastards. But you know what? The powers that be would do nothing to help me. Because I was trying to investigate and prove that the cops were just as corrupt as Matt. I had evidence, but when Bill and Ron came in onto the council and the other people, not one of them asked what I was talking about. Not one of them called me. Not one of them did anything. I went to Bill over and over again. I met him for breakfast. I met him for coffee. I met him all kinds of places. And I tried to explain to him, hey, look, Bill, the things that these people have done with our money is wrong. They have to be prosecuted. There has to be some account. And instead, Bill and Ron have engaged in a massive cover-up. They've basically said that everything that was done was Matt's fault. But you know what? That's just not true. What we were taught in boot camp was that after World War II, the Nuremberg trials took place. The fascists, the Nazis, were made to account because they couldn't say that I was just following orders. Well, now I want to know, while here in the 21st century, these college-educated men, why they didn't know, well, they knew that they were breaking the law. They knew, they watched every day. They came, if you drove through this town and you didn't have a turn signal that was working, if you had a loud muffler, if somehow you tried to evade the cops, they ran your plate like that. When I got elected, Matt and the cops set me up many times trying to get me leaving the bar where they bought me a couple of drinks. If I had gotten in the car, I know that they were going to bust me. The cops sat right out behind the bars, but you know what? I walked. So, anyway, this is the way that the village of Vicksburg has been run for years. And the reason is that during the war and after the war, during the prosperous times and these kind of things, the paper mill that ran the village accumulated just the family was rich beyond belief. So they put money into the community chest, or what became known as the community foundation. And that money then has been spent to absolutely distort the checks and balances that's supposed to go on in America by control of the purse strings. The village has been able to spend money beyond their budget on the police and other things because the foundation gives the village money to pay for the general administration fees so that they can bloat the police budget. We spend 60-70% of our budget on the police. The rest is just on the payroll for the staff. We don't invest in anything. We don't repair things. The public works needs equipment. The public works needs people. But instead, for the last 10 years, they've been paid for money that they didn't work. They've been paid punching in for time that they didn't show up. This was the investigation that I had, that I went to Bill and Matt and said, look, I went to Bill and I said, look, I know these things are going on. But instead, the chief of police and the people in the foundation are whispering in his ear, you know what? He's a marijuana grower. Don't listen to him. Well, I'm a marijuana patient because I have an ailment that attacks my joints. And the opiates and the other meds were killing me. Now I've been free of the opiates for a little over a year, and I actually function so much better. But see, the police and the prosecutors, the judges, everybody that I've run into in the state of Michigan that's a Republican anyway, wants nothing to do with me being able to use marijuana. Not the police. They don't like the will of the people. And see, as a veteran, we were told to go spread the democracy around the world. Well, we practice democracy here in the state, and we can't get it. The will of the people, the police, the corrupt bastards, just absolutely will not allow us to do this. And one of the things that just boggles my mind that I get is that for all these people that say these things that, oh, well, we do this for religious reasons. I'm a Christian as well. And I believe that God created everything. How he did it, I sort of tend to believe that evolution is in the first couple chapters of the Bible. But I also really want to know if these people are aware that marijuana is a seed-producing plant, and that in the first 2 chapters of Genesis, God says that we can use those things for our benefit. Seed-producing plants. Anyway, so I digress. So I'm talking about the corruption here, not just the Republicans in general or the pinheads that are in power that refuse to let us be free. It reminds me so much of a couple of the songs that the Who has, let's be free and see who cares. Well, in this town, the people that care, that don't want us to be free, are the 10% that run this town. The police, the foundation, the doctors, the lawyers, the people that have real money, but they support a corrupt government. And instead of disclosure, instead of talking about and being transparent about where this money went, that Matt spent and that he took, instead of, they had a backdoor meeting. They investigated. They know who took money, how much, and they're still working for the village. And what I want to know is if we're going to do something to make them pay Social Security and taxes on that money. Are we going to do something to disclose it so that they have to pay it back? Are we at least going to put some sort of note in their personnel file so that they can't be promoted? But see, that's not how it works. Bill and Ron have absolutely blamed everything on Matt. And I know, as a vet, the Geneva Convention and all these things, you're supposed to fight an unlawful order. But it seems that that's not the way that it is for the cops, or the prosecutors, the sheriff, the state police, the attorney general. They don't want to investigate these people. They'll come and investigate me. They put a camera across the street in a tree, and one of the guys that works for the Department of Public Works, and when I tell you that everybody that works for the village is guilty of getting paid for money, getting money for time that they didn't work and benefits that they didn't accrue, he gets to put, him and the police get to put a camera in the tree to monitor me, and I just think it's appalling. I'd like the people of Vicksburg and people around here to know that this is the bullies that these people are. I try to uncover corruption and do the right thing, and these people absolutely do anything that they can to discredit me. It's a disgrace. It's absolutely a disgrace, and it's a mockery. I'm sorry. It makes a mockery of our democracy. Thanks.